Hello everyone, welcome to another video of Vinyl Attic, and my name's Chili, and yes, it's another Rolling Stones live album that's been released, and you know, they just keep on putting them out there, and as a Stones fan, I not only is it, overwhelming to try to collect all these things and keep up, and the reason why, for most other artists, I'm not into compilations and I'm not into greatest hits or best of or any kinds of things like that. But for the Stones, they're probably the only band where I collect as many even compilations that they put out and live performances. The reason for that is, depending on what's going to be on the set list, some songs they don't even play live, or they haven't played live in a long time, or it's never been recorded. For example, on the Atlantic City release where they did on the Steel Wheels tour, they played Salt of the Earth for the first time. They played it live for the first time. And that had Axl Rose and Izzy from Guns N' Roses at the time, so that was like around 89, 90. Just recently on their 60th anniversary tour, they played Out of Time for the first time ever. So when they capture these songs live as a fan, yes, you'll hear, some songs that you have to hear over and over again live, but it's always those little gems that they throw in here. And so, that being said, with Rolling Stones live in Madison Square Garden, New York City, this is from the 40 Licks tour. So this was 2002, 2003. And 40 Licks was just a compilation. It had one new song, or a couple new songs on that compilation, and Don't Stop was one of them, and that's included on here. They play this live. And let me show you what the set list is. So, the intro, Street Fighting Man, Start Me Up, If You Can't Rock Me. That's from It's Only Rock and Roll album, so that's really cool. Don't Stop, Monkey Man from Let It Bleed. Angie, Let It Bleed, the title track. Midnight Rambler from Let It Bleed. They were playing a lot of Let It Bleed material here. Tumbling Dice, Through and Through from Voodoo Lounge, which is, a real deep cut. I mean, it's a Keith Richards song, and that was kind of surprising. See, that's what I'm talking about for a fan. It's just like, oh, cool, Happy, because he plays two songs, in their later tours, Make Leaves, after he introduces every member of the band and all the performers and all the people that are playing with them, the backup band, and leaves it to Keith, and Keith always usually does two songs. So Through and Through and Happy, and Gimme Shelter, Let It Bleed Again, You Got Me Rocking from Voodoo Lounge, Can't You Hear Me Knocking. Now that was the one here too, that's just like wow, from Sticky Fingers. And they played a whole 10-minute, 11-minute piece with great sax by Bobby Keys. It's awesome. Honky Tonk Women, that's shared on stage with Sheryl Crow, who was opening up as special guest on the show, so she goes out there and duets with him. Can't Get No Satisfaction, It's Only Rock and Roll, but I like it. When the Whip Comes Down. Okay, so you got some girls there. Ends Up with Brown Sugar, Sympathy for the Devil, and Jumping Jack Flash. Now, this originally aired on HBO when it came out. I think it aired in its entirety, and then it was also released on 4 Flicks. This is the DVD of that, And what they were doing here on this was 4 shows, one in a small club, the next is an arena, one is in a stadium, and so on and so forth. And this was the arena one show. And this version here on the DVD doesn't have Start Me Up. They took out Start Me Up, Tumbling Dice, and Sympathy for the Devil. So this is the entirety of the whole show. And let me show you, it's a triple gatefold. And so M is for Madison. And this is in white vinyl. And I like how the letters are all big for side A. Side B, you know. Sometimes, you know, bands put like, or artists put like odd labels in there, and you can't decipher what is the side A or side B, or, you know. So this is Keith, of course. There's the S for square. Side C, side D. So this is pretty much just a 40 Licks tour, which is, you know, it's not very like a greatest hits tour per se, but I mean they do have a new song that, or you know, that they recorded. And they always like to play the new material, unlike some other bands. As old as the Stones are, they have new material they were playing. The last time they played on the No Filter tour here in America, they had the song they recorded during the lockdowns, which was Living in a Ghost Town. They performed it. So, you know, they're always still, you know, playing their new material as much as their old material now. The review I did for Al Makamba, I pretty much said that was a, you know, for diehard fans because of the set list. I mean, the set list was just so many deep cuts. It's in the club, and it's for diehard fans. I mean, in order to get into that show, the DJ on the radio station said, "What's the craziest thing would you do to get into a Rolling Stones concert?" So 300 people said some crazy things in order to get in there, and so they're going to be treated with, you know, hardcore fan material. How I see it. Now this, you know, they have, let's see, Start Me Up, Can't Get No Satisfaction, which is something that they don't play all the time, considering that is the song that broke them. You know, Brown Sugar, these regular songs here, Jumpin' Jack Flash, and Honky Tonk Women are pretty much, you know, main staples that you'll probably hear at a show. And Tumbling Dice, you never stop playing that, it seems like, from since it came out. And Midnight Rambler is sort of like, it's a concert favorite. They always play it. I believe there are some tours where they didn't play it, but like they didn't have it on that little club show in '77. But for the most part, it's a song that's not, it's as popular as the other ones, but because I think they like it, you know, in the documentary movie Crossfire Hurricane, you know, there's this whole segment about Midnight Rambler, how they're saying it's a opera, you know, it's a blues opera, and only anyone could have written any other songs that they've written, like Satisfaction and Jumping Jack Flash, but Keith said only the Stones could have written, you know, Midnight Rambler, which I believe is true. And so it's my favorite song all time. It's my number one. And so when I saw them, they played it too. They played it. And what I could say about this is that I think it's for both, fans and hardcore fans and just, run-of-the-mill fans, I mean, when you're getting the material like Can't You Hear Me Knocking, and then as far as a Stones concert goes, I believe that everyone who really, I'd say like 80%, 85% who go to a Stones concert are really into the band. I mean, the applause that you hear after Can't You Hear Me Knocking is just, they were just like floored, like holy shit, they're playing this song, from start to finish, and playing even like deep cuts like Let It Bleed. They do a great version of Angie on this one, where Keith is just very loose on the acoustic parts when he's playing it, and it doesn't really break, mixed concentration. They're like on it together. They've been doing this for so long, and they're just, a perfect unison, a harmony. They're a perfect match. You can't have one without the other. Even the new material on here at the time, Don't Stop, it's not my favorite. It's an okay song. It gets its point across, but it really didn't have much of a personality to me as a Stones song. Like when they came out with Doom and Gloom in 2012, I mean, that riff, and that's like familiar territory. That's Stoned, it's Rolling Stoned, and it's just like it sounded like something that they could have put out years ago. And I remember hearing people tell me, a friend saying like, thinking that was an old song. I'm like, no, this is their new shit. It's like, so that song is just, it's okay, but all in all, of course, I'm glad that they put this out. It's one of the, as far as like the videos that they have released, the home videos, it's one of my favorite shows to watch. I mean, they have countless shit as well, of course, but I always like this, the songs that they chose on here. My favorites is If You Can't Rock Me and Monkey Man, and of course Midnight Rambler and Can't You Hear Me Knocking. And through and through, that was a really cool song that they chose on as well. So this is, for me, it's one of their great ones as the later shows are concerned. I mean, I got some later shows that are just like, and because what they're doing is that they're putting it out on, you can purchase it on the format of Blu-ray and DVD, and get the live material on a CD accompanying with it, or a vinyl. Like the only other one that I could say that, as far as like the later live material that came out, is a Hyde Park reunion show, which has Mick Taylor coming back and doing Midnight Rambler. That's probably like just that scene alone is what makes that one like one of my favorites. But as far as like all around set list for the later live shows, and now on vinyl for the first time, which is great, is Rolling Stones Licked Live in NYC. So that's my video on this Rolling Stones live material segment video. I'm sure that I'm gonna get some more and share it with you guys. I'm a Stones fan, and I gotta share that every time I get a new one. And somehow I want to just like, it's the band that I have most more of than any other artist, because they've been around so long. But once you're a fan and just really understand what it's all about, it doesn't seem as crazy, you know. So, because it's like, why would you, you know? I mean, I guess there's like deadheads, you know, just continue getting live material from them because their shows are, you know, they are different. Another band that I like hearing their live material from is Black Crowes. You know, it's always different, and I used to follow them around, and you know, they really remind me of like that '70s Stone stuff, and it so happened that you know they put out an EP called 1972, which starts off with Rock Soft. So there you go. So you know, like this video, share it, comment below, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.